to sharing the tale of Hansel and Gretel. Once upon a time, and next to a great big woods lied a small cabin. In the cabin lived a small family. They were very poor. There was mother and father and their two small children, Hansel and Gretel. The family had fallen on hard times, and father often worried about how he would feed his family. Mother suggested that they had a plan to take the children far into the great big woods so that they may never find their way back to the cabin, and they would survive. As the children had not gone to sleep yet, they had overheard their parents' plan. Gretel was very worried and started to cry. Hansel comforted her as he snuck out the front door. Underneath the moonlight, he noticed how the pebbles had shined like coins on the street. He gathered up all the pebbles and put them in his pocket and returned to bed. The next morning, Mother woke them up roughly and rushed them out of the house. We must gather firewood in the great big woods for our family. As they headed in, Hansel was drifting behind. Mother turned around and told him, "You lazy fool, hurry up, hurry up." Hansel was dropping the pebbles behind him, slowly leaving a trail into the woods. As they reached the middle of the woods, Father had lit a great big fire. Mother had told the children to rest at the fire, and that Father and her were going to collect even more firewood deeper in the woods, and they would be back for their children to bring them home. As the children knew their parents' plan, they did not come back. The children waited for the moonlight to come out, and when the moonlight did, it shined on all the pebbles that Hansel had put on the floor. They followed the trail back that led them back to their cabin. As they knocked on the door, the mother said, "You naughty children, we were so worried that you were never coming back." Father was very happy though. The next night, Mother said to Father, "We must bring them even further into the woods. This way they will never find us." The children also heard this, for they had not gone to sleep again. Hansel went outside to collect more pebbles, but yet the door was locked. He could not collect pebbles. He went back to bed. The next morning, Mother rushed them out, gave them each a piece of bread. "This is your very last piece of bread," she said. "Make it last." Hansel started to crumble up his bread in his pocket, creating breadcrumbs. As they walked into the great big woods, Hansel was dropping the breadcrumbs again. As they reached the middle of the woods once more, Father had lit another fire. Mother had told them the plan again, that they would go get more firewood and that they would be back for them, but the children knew they were not coming back. When the moonlight came out, they looked for the trail yet again, but the birds and the creatures had simply eaten all of the breadcrumbs. The children wandered for the next 2 days, very hungry and tired and scared. They often watched birds, and they watched the one bird that was white, a snowbird, and they followed it through the woods and it opened up to a cottage. As they got closer to this cottage, the cottage was made out of cakes and pastries and breads. They started to enjoy the house, ripping parts off, until an old lady came out and said, "Who is eating my house?" The children assured them that they meant no harm. The old lady had offered them to come inside and to rest. She had a table full of food and 2 beds simply made for them. The children were excited to finally be at rest. Children went inside when the old lady quickly captured them. She locked Hansel into a barn stall and locked the door. Gretel, on the other hand, was inside and was told that she had to feed Hansel as much food as she could to fatten him up, for the witch said she was going to eat him. See, this was not an old lady, but a witch. The witch had red eyes, and she could not hear very well, but she can smell very well. As Gretel started making food for Hansel, Hansel was not fattening up, for he was tricking the witch by touching a bone to feel how fat he was. Since this witch could not see, she did not know. The witch said, "I will eat you lean, I will eat you fat. I am going to eat you." She quickly instructed Gretel to light a fire and hang the cauldron over the fire. As she told Gretel the plans to eat her brother, she told her that they would be baking first. She pulled Gretel over by an oven and told her to check. Open the oven doors and see if that oven has lit properly. Gretel knew that the witch was dangerous and that she was going to eat her eventually too. So she told the witch, "I simply do not know how to. Can you show me?" And the witch said, "Oh, you silly, it's very easy. Watch this." As the witch started to climb into the oven, Gretel quickly shoved her and shut the doors of the oven and locked her in. The witch let out a howl so loud as she burnt to pieces. Gretel quickly ran next to Hansel and told him that she had saved him. And the children quickly rejoiced as they checked the old witch's house. They found chests full of jewels. They stuffed the jewels in their pocket and headed home. When they reached their cabin, they knocked on the door and they saw Father. They said, "Father, we are saved. We are saved. We do not have to worry." They presented their jewels to their father,